Namaste. I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk to you about some of the offerings that are asking to be expressed through me um, in the remainder of this year. So, today is the summer solstice, it's the longest day of the year. And from here until winter solstice, the light will begin to decrease in each day in the northern hemisphere. And what I'd like to kind of share with you is this growing relationship that I've had with the Divine Mother. In the yogic tradition, the Divine Mother is held supreme to all energy. It is said that our cosmos form in her womb. It is because of her that we exist, that this manifest world exists. And that really was the opposite of the tradition that I was raised in. Um, my childhood, I spent in a very patriarchal, controlling religion that was very fear based. That God was definitely masculine and he was meant to be feared. Um, and that it was only through this rigidity of understanding that um, we could come closer to Him in life after this life. So I kind of always knew that that didn't sit right with my understanding, even as a child, of what God was. And um, this relationship or growth with the Divine Mother that's taken place has really only happened as I've fully stepped on my yogic path. I went through my first teacher training in 2015, and it was the first time that I really explored the chakra system and started to awaken these energetic centers within me in a new way. I had previously gone through Reiki training as well, but it was like this initiation with the chakras that really began to open this relationship or understanding communication with the Divine Mother. And then my first trip to India in 2017 was really when this started to expand. So, maybe the seed was planted and work began to happen back in 2015, but it was 2017 that everything just started to really take off because in that tradition, in the yogic tradition, to have the Divine Mother so revered, so much devotion is poured out to her, so much reverence. It was a shift in my understanding of in my relationship with God to see her as feminine, to begin to align the conceptual understanding with the understanding of my heart. I've always been kind of drawn out into nature, into woods, into the forest, particularly into bodies of water, and understanding that this pulsation comes from her. But then to kind of find this history, this tradition that supports that wisdom um, from a conceptual basis just allowed things to start really flowing. So in 2018, I had the extreme privilege to be initiated into the Dasha Mahavidyas, which are the 10 wisdom goddesses in the Tantric tradition. And so as I worked with each of them, it started to unlock these different understandings of the medicine that the Divine Mother has to share with all of us. And you may already be feeling this. There's a call in the last few years to bring balance back into our society that has been so patriarchal in um, the way that it showed up. There's been a very big misalignment where um, work with the Divine Mother has been seen as pagan and as less important than that male dominated action oriented. And I'm not even talking about just from a sex standpoint of male female. I'm just talking about the masculine energy, which is embodied in us as well. And to give you an example of that, um, growing up, all of the masculine characteristics within me were praised. I was praised for my organization, my ability to take charge and to move forward with things, to follow through, and really was that kind of domineering personality. I was very into sports and just very physically active and saw any kind of softening um, as vulnerable, which what meant weakness in my definition. And so, all the ways in which where that masculine energy manifested for me, those were applauded. And it's what, kind of got me far into my career as well. I'm in a career where it's kind of that type A personality dominated world. And there's not a lot of room for exploration and growth and receptivity and sharing in a vulnerable way. And so this work has begun to unlock and kind of shift all of that for myself. And I feel like it's the call of the work of us as a species in our culture. And because of this, I feel like now is the time to begin to share these teachings in a new way. One other small story. So after I left India with this wisdom being activated within me with the Dasha Mahavidyas, the following year, I was going through a health crisis, a healing crisis. And I kept asking her, what was needed in order to fully clear and heal the dis-ease that was happening. And she asked me to come on pilgrimage. And I had to do many things to shift things around for that to happen. But because it was out of this surrender to following divine will, it all fell into place. And this is really when I started to work with the principle, the Ishta, the energy of Mary Magdalene, in turn, Isis and Hathor and Divine Sophia. Their frequencies started to unlock certain wisdom within me that my soul has carried throughout its journey in time. And so, this relationship of my embodiment of this wisdom is now being asked to more consciously um, share it in a new and fresh way. The first offering that is coming forth, I'm calling it the Shri Life series. And so the first offering is really going to explore what Shri value is, what that Shakti energy is, what that manifestation of the Divine Mother is, and how to work with it more fully. And we're going to use a particular set of practices that help to align us with that wisdom and begin to unlock the wisdom within us so that we can have an experience of her, because ultimately that's what our relationship with God, with the divine, with source, with universe, with love, whatever you call it, is. It's experiential value. It's a intimate relationship where it's not outside of us in some other place that we're having trouble reaching. It's right here. It's right now. And so in this first, we will begin to work with this energy to awaken the Kundalini Shakti that we all have within us. And we'll take that practice and we'll practice it for a set number of days. This is called a tapas practice, where we're meeting ourselves in that practice every single day in that sacred practice of sadhana. And then we're going to come back together in the second series and really look at initiating this energy in a new way using mantra. You'll be initiated into the Sri Yantra sadhana with her mantra that goes even more subtle than the Kriya practice that we have started with. And so each of these offerings builds on one another. And we'll work with that for a particular series of days, a set of days. I'm also going to offer a Kundalini Shakti immersion where we will come together, a very small, intimate group will come together for an extended weekend. And this will be with the intention of awakening a deeper understanding of what Kundalini is, what it isn't, and how to use it to advance our evolution, how to use it to more fully embody our truth. And then all of this is leading up to the end of the year, where we will, my beautiful brother Bajrang and I will be initiating a small group of yogis into the Dasha Mahavidya practice, that advanced sadhana. So all of this will not only, it will prepare you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually to receive the wisdom of the Dasha Mahavidyas. There are prerequisites to that course. And so regardless of if that course is meant for you this year, this series will only benefit you and will be fully supported by the energy of the season to really become mature on our spiritual path. So thank you for allowing me to share some of my story and how I have come to this place of seeing how this offering is only going to deepen my relationship with her, because I will be doing it alongside of you as well. So you can find more information at enlightenedliving.yoga, and please reach out if you have any questions.